Hello, everybody, and welcome to Certified Life Coach Institute's CLCI Live.
Should we all put our middle names up there, Mr. Michael? Anthony Michael?
Well, it's for really important people who need their full titles, but I guess you all can. Jen, you joined us. Hello,
I
Jen.
have joined you. And I'd like to point out that I finally got new glasses.
They look lovely.
Perfect. Now you can see us.
I mean, I got the script and it was just sitting for like 3 months before I actually went and got them. So I'm very proud of myself.
Good job. Good job.
Did any of else get anything new? I don't think I've gotten anything new recently.
A home.
Well, it's not my home. It's the owner's home. I'm renting it, but it is new.
Yeah.
It's exciting. They saw it last week, though. The viewers,
Counts.
our esteemed viewers. Last week, though. Oh wait, before we get into that, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Interact with us. We enjoy chatting with you folks in Facebook, YouTube land, wherever you are. Distract us. Give us some things to talk about. Tell us a joke. We love interacting with you all. Last week, we were joined by Sam, and we were talking about guerrilla marketing and AI and finding your niche and things like that. Today, Brooke gave us the topic, are you still passionate? How do you sustain the passion, pleasure, the excitement when it starts to fade? Brooke needs to come up with shorter titles. Getting longer and longer.
I shortened it. I definitely shortened
Thank
it.
you.
That's not what the viewers are seeing.
We're going to be talking about that, though, is how do you sustain passion, pleasure, and excitement after time about anything.
How about around your coaching practice?
We could do that. Or like when clients come to us and they are starting to lose their passion. Lisa, I'm sure you've seen that a lot in relationship coaching.
Yeah, as we were just doing some of that research, I mean, all of it, can be even changed for relationships. The different ways to help the reconnection of a relationship. So we'll save that for later too.
Yeah. But that's what we're going to be talking about today is passion. The passions, being passionate. Who do you think's the most passionate out of all of us?
Brooke.
Brooke. I was going to say Sam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, he's
Brooke, Brooke also just has ADHD, so
doesn't discount passion.
Yeah.
No, it's no passion underneath. It's just cold, analytic.
Our whole team, though, in general, is pretty passionate. Like, even everyone we didn't name, I'm like, yeah, they're passionate. They're passionate. They're passionate.
They're passionate about something, maybe not coaching specifically, but they're passionate people. Coaches are just generally passionate.
I think I'm more even keel through it. Like I'll have, those blips up a little bit as I go through, or a blip down a little bit. I don't generally have high highs or low lows, as even with a passionate feeling.
So we always do this. This is always the way we start these lives, is with definitions and dictionaries and defining our terms. What is passion to you guys?
Your driving force to get things done.
To get things done.
I think it has it's more than to me, it's more than a driving force, but it's an exhilaration with it and a extra energetic way of connecting to whatever it is.
Yeah, I like that. I think a divine motivation probably is
a divine motivation.
There you go. I was missing an adjective there somewhere.
To me, passion is like the word matters comes to mind. Is like I'm passionate about things that matter to me. Not necessarily like I think everybody should be passionate about what I'm passionate about, clearly, but I'm passionate about things that, matter to me. I repeat myself.
Has anybody ever been passionate about something they don't care about? I can't imagine somebody's ever been passionate about something they do not care about.
I think you could be pushed into a situation where you're passionate about something you didn't initially care about because something happened and it completely flipped your world upside down. And now you don't really even have a choice. Like you care about this no matter.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I'm going to go even further. That passion is like, it goes hand in hand with suffering. That's kind of what they discussed on the research that we did today. But passion is like, if you are not involved with whatever you're passionate about, you are suffering. It's just not. You cannot have passion without also suffering in its absence. Because if you weren't suffering, you're not passionate. It's maybe like an inclination or maybe just a desire that you can put away or neatly file in a box. But if you're passionate, it's like all consuming. And what Jerome said is divine. I'm not, super big on metaphysics or woo-woo. But divine is a good word because it's like it's outside of your control. It is something that consumes you and drives your attention and your focus, not the other way around. You're not the one who's in control of the passion is in control of you. And I don't know. I'm trying to, because passion is also like one of those like terms, like it's on a spectrum, or those terms of gradation where passion is like the extreme end of a spectrum of desire. And I can't think of a word at the moment that is stronger than passion. I don't know if you guys can.
Conviction?
I was going to say obsession. Obsession is, yeah.
Well, I think that's a different. That's different though. Obsession. I mean,
passion is also like, I guess passion is more like pleasurable, it sounds, than obsession. Like obsession is like something that is kind of neutral.
Right. It could go either way. Could cause you pain
suffering.
Or pleasure.
And obsession might get to the point where it's like now you're in like DSM-5 psychiatric territory.
So I just typed in what's a strong synonym for passion. It says zeal.
Zeal, yeah. What was the other one that you said, Jen? Conviction. I think conviction is more intellectual. It's like sure 100% knowledge. Like you are you have conviction of something. You know it inside and out. There's no dissuading your conviction. I guess conviction and passion could go hand in hand.
They definitely
just seem one seems slightly more intellectual than the other. Whereas passion is like you don't need intellectual conviction about passion. It's just kind of
to be passionate about something.
Like a wave that takes you.
Jerome's word is on the list, along
zeal,
with zeal
or
the obsession. Yeah,
obsession. I like obsession too. Is passion.
Fervor, ardor, however you say that word, enthusiasm, and devotion.
Yeah. So my opinion is that people tend to use passion they kind of use it a little loosey-goosey. They don't give it as much credit as I think it deserves. Like what I always hear, like as kind of as a joke, like what do HR managers want you to be passionate about is customer service. Like, could you imagine what that would look like if we were passionate about our customers and obsessed with them and wanted to know every...
Wait, we're not?
We're not, no. I've listened to the recordings, Jen. You're not passionate enough about them.
Oh my God. I
want you to be swooning over their every word, hanging on to them, asking them questions.
I do sometimes.
I want you to know them inside and outside and be their best friend.
I think that's gone past
right. It's not our job.
Yeah, but that's the joke, is that HR, that's the only answer that HR professionals will accept when you're in a job interview, is that you just have to be obsessed and passionate about really insignificant things sometimes, where passion seems to be reserved for like spiritual matters in the way that Jerome put it. So with passion, I also tend to see things like find your passion, or do what you're passionate about, or if you
Find your purpose.
find your purpose, or you do with your passion, do what you love. You never work a day in your life, which I think is complete bullshit. But what are your guys' thoughts on it?
It's true. I would agree. I think, even your passion has its doldrum places. And I hate filing, and I get a stack of filing, and there's no passion there, or unless it's the opposite.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that statement's true. I think it's a nice idea, but I don't think it's true. I mean, an example for me is like, I work out every day, but now when I film myself and I make social media content, it's a completely different experience. So to say that like I do that every day and it's not work versus I do that every day and I love it, there's a difference. Like, yeah, I love it, but I don't love the work that I have to do to utilize it in content. So, it's definitely work. I love it, but
I'm of the opinion, if you want to make your passion fade as fast as possible, then make it into a job. Do whatever it is you love doing. As soon as you start doing it for money and to pay the bills, you will no longer be passionate about it. Now, I'm sure there are either some people who are extraordinary and they're doing something they absolutely love and would continue doing no matter what, or they're just lying to me. But I think the numbers are very, very small.
Well, I think if you're passionate about a skill that you are putting out there, I think it allows you to do the drudgery work more. I'm going to use the word easily. That's not the word I'm looking for, but that's what's coming up. More easily than if you were working, another job that you weren't even interested in. So
I think the passion is still there. It's just certain aspects that require you to implement that you're required to implement to make it lucrative. So you can, when you start making money doing it, unfortunately, there's things that come along with that you have to kind of grunt through sometimes to do still what you find that you are passionate about. It just kind of lessens that experience for you, considering you're now trying to, again, make it lucrative for you.
Yeah. And what you said, Lisa, passion also is a measure of how much you are willing to suffer to do something. And if you're not willing to suffer to do it, you're probably not that passionate, and the stakes are not that high for you.
I think people get confused, though, especially when we're talking about a business, right? Even in coaching, there are so many people who are passionate to connect and be the support system for someone else, and they're very passionate about it. But as soon as you bring in the business side of coaching, they get caught up in overthinking, being afraid. I mean, you just go down the litany of negative thoughts that go with it. Really any business that you operate is going to have those both sides of things. We are not the exception to the rule. We are still conducting business, and therefore
there's a difference between being passionate about coaching and being passionate about running a business.
You can see the shift in our class. Like, I'm not saying it's drastic, but day 1, day 2 for 101, where it's mostly coaching, it's a great, you can feel the energy is high. The third day, probably because also it's just the third day, but you can tell the energy is a little bit less, relevant or prevalent, and they're a little bit more heady.
Because we're talking business stuff.
Which I think that is a good way to have the class, rather than doing like the marketing and the business and the start and then the rest of them.
Well, there's no relation to it.
Yeah, and people would like freak out probably, and they would not be able to connect what it is that they're going to be doing to making money, and then possibly drop out. Not if you're watching this and you haven't
And
taken a
on that
class.
slippery slope really fast there, Anthony.
I think it probably would lead to some people dropping out because they're not doing the coaching, which is like the most important thing in class is
Mhm.
doing the thing.
Yeah, they're doing the part that probably scares them the
Yeah.
most. And if you put that at the beginning, that I agree with you. I think that could scare some people away. I do think though that there's a lot of people that take our class that business and marketing, you know, it's like, yeah, it's good. It's a good thing to know, but ultimately they're there for the
Yeah.
skill set of coaching. So regardless of what happens on that day, what they learn so much from the
Mhm.
first 2 days.
So, in regards to passion, getting back to passion, it's not something that can be sustained forever. At least the emotion or feeling that we think of passion. Like, I don't know, what's the longest you've ever felt passionate about a specific thing before?
Sports, football in particular, probably since I was
Watching football or being in football or
anything to do with it.
thinking about football?
Watching it, being around it if I can. Yeah.
My grandkids. That's about it.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
I think for me, it's been like reading like philosophy and fiction. Not that it really excites the emotions when you think about it, but it's like the most long-standing project I have done is just been consistent with and feel excited about when I start a new book. I don't imagine myself ever stopping reading, being a reader. Jen.
I'm thinking of relationships.
Go ahead, Lisa.
As I said, my grandkids, and then I went, well, and.
Mm-hmm.
So my relationships, I think, is the better term. Anyway, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, relationships for sure. But for me, I'm thinking like, what is something that I was passionate about as a kid that has never gone anywhere, and I'm still just as passionate about it. And it's literally like music and dance. Like it's never left me. It's never going to leave me. I'm always going to love it, and in some capacity. And even if I can't participate in it one day, like I'm still going to be like watching it and admiring it. You know,
I think reading is that for me.
So when passion starts to fade, because in my mind it's like a temporary emotional state, or like a state of like hyper focus, maybe obsession. You know, it sort of just invades your thoughts most of the time. We've talked in the past, kind of, or skirted around why it tends to fade. I think one of the reasons why was like the hedonic treadmill. And people usually associate passion with like the feeling of being happy. And you cannot sustain that an indefinite amount of time. You will return to whatever state you were neutrally at. And some people, I believe, are just more happy than other people. I tend to be one of the people who is lower on the hedonic treadmill, and my state is less happy than normal.
Well, it's kind of how do you identify happiness? I mean, because I would say peace for me.
Mhm.
It's not about exhilaration or high energy. I would say peace and stability. And
I think of like I think the common parlance for passion is like exhilarance and fervor and heightened emotion.
See, I would think it like for me, happiness is being content, like at any given moment. Like, and I feel happy a lot because I'm just content a lot. I mean, not all the time, obviously, but the majority of the time I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I got it pretty good.
Yeah.
Things are good.
I wouldn't call that, I mean, it's your definition in your life. I wouldn't call that happiness. I would call that being content, which is different from happiness. And they can have.
So are you saying that I'm not happy?
When you're there, right there, when you're smiling and you're showing your teeth, that's happiness, and you're laughing. You're showing happiness. Now, not happy. Happy again. But content, they're like different sliding scales in my mind. That you can be really happy and really
Okay.
discontent,
Okay.
which is probably passion.
Well,
Passion.
but you've added, what is that? Is that an adjective? Really happy.
Yeah.
If we're just talking about happy, I think it can equate. But you added the really happy, then I would agree with you. Yeah.
So, but yeah, really happy, but also a bit discontent. A lot of driving energy forward is what, in my mind, I think passion is. Where the exact opposite, if you are no happiness but supremely content, then you're, I don't know, you're like the Buddha at that point. You're some supernatural or near supernatural being of pure contentment and zero happiness.
Jerome, how do you define happiness?
I think I tend to sway kind of towards what you and Lisa are saying. I think contentment is happiness to me. Yeah. But I do agree with Anthony. What you're saying is it. See, I think you can be passionate about your pursuit of peace and contentment. So I don't know. That's where I kind of go in circles.
Yeah, I think we need to get a Buddhist on board, and maybe he would straighten out my misconceptions, probably. But, and I want to bring this to like maybe more concrete examples. In your experience, Lisa, with couples, because that's like, I think that's the easiest to attach all of our, passions to, because that's, I think, the most general way human beings are passionate is when they're thinking about romance or love or sex or whatever, those kind of things. People tend to do crazy things when they're very passionate, and feel really bad when the passion's not there. What, in your observation, leads to people losing their passion for
Real
one another?
life. Real life.
How?
Because, a lot of the times they will think passion is supposed to be sustained throughout their relationship. And maybe for a very minute, and in books that happens. But in reality, we have that ebb and flow of what passion is and what it means. And then the reality of a relationship, arguing. Some couples will think, well, that's not how we started. I want to get back to where we started. But the point of that is you didn't know each other when you started. So you want to get back to the point of not knowing each other and pretending everything's all good all the time. It's not really what real life's about. It's about learning, growing, commitment, making changes that work together, and recognizing how really to work as a team in a relationship. Going back to what it was is what a beginning relationship is, not what a mature relationship is. Let's call it that. Somebody that's grown through the experience. So that concept of passion in a relationship ebbs and flows. There's times that it's really very well present, and there's times that maybe contentment is in there, or maybe malcontent is in there, and then you have to learn to grow and change.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, I think people get in their heads when they, maybe, I don't want to say toxic relationships, but relationships that have a lot of highs and lows and roller coasters. Like, even the lows are passionate. Like, when you are really in each other's faces or at each other's throats, or you're thrown into turmoil, that's still passion. It's like people, mature relationships, and what it sounds like, have this homeostasis, not doing these humongous roller coasters of emotions. Now, my mind, maybe this is my opinion. If I was a relationship coach, maybe this would be my opinion, which is why I'm not a relationship coach. I think sometimes that the search for passion and reigniting the passion, it can be misguided sometimes.
What do you mean?
I think it tends to be what people think relationships are is
Mm,
passion,
mm.
which we talked about it. There's the happy middle ground. There's mature relationships. There's contentment. There's also like the friendship aspects of being in a relationship. Like I like hanging out with my friends. I'm not, and these are lifelong friends, by the way. I'm not passionate about them, um, but there are other more complex ways to have a relationship with people and things other than just your obsession or passion with them. Um, so, for example, like in a relationship, maybe working on passion is, what sounds good at the moment, but maybe you should work on being better friends with each other or being more trustworthy or
Hmm.
maybe working towards like long-term intellectual goals like your finances, getting that, situated
So
before.
you're kind of talking about trust and the multifacets of trust in a relationship and how you build and grow that is
Yeah.
really what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, or just like all the other aspects of a relationship. Like sometimes being passionate and being worried about being passionate and losing your passion, like it's okay. These are not like super important things and they might just come back naturally on their own. Uh, it not might not be something that you can work on, in my opinion, as well. Um, because like what Jerome said, like divine, I'm just gonna say outside of your control from this point forward. Uh, it might be outside of your control how passionate you can feel about any one thing. Um, no matter how hard you work at it, it might not just come back, or it might come back when you least expect it. Is what I guess what I'm trying to say.
I think I would agree about the control
Hmm.
that but I think the being open to the journey of growth and what's potential can have the ebb of it being present.
Hmm.
So I think the term control, I don't think you have control over it, but I think you do have influence. There's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
I think you have influence. I think you can have influence with it.
Hmm. So then, with couples, we're sticking with couples, but we can just extend this to anything anyone's passionate about.
Hmm.
How would you get it back then? How could you influence it so that
Mm.
it comes back?
Kind of the same list that we got going on for anything, right? You've got to get out there, experiment with new things with each other. You've got to
Mhm.
connect and things that you've already said. Create that friendship, that line of communication, that line of being interested in your partner, that place of remembering even why you got into the relationship, the
Mhm.
ability to um, just explore new concepts in a way that has depth. Right? You
Mhm.
may have talked about this, but did it have the depth that now you're recognizing? Did you open up that conversation, that turning towards each other, even when you're not happy with each other in a moment,
Mhm.
that you turn back towards each other because you're still interested in that person and that partner.
It's
And
kind of, oh yeah, go on, Jen.
and should you not have this idea of what it's supposed to look like and just allow it to evolve and take shape in whatever way it does?
The what is it supposed to look like sometimes is based on how we grew up. So it's recognizing that, are we trying to recreate that comfort from where we were and how we grew? Is
Mm.
this something new that, and sometimes that can go towards therapy, which we're tapping into a little bit now, which we don't do as coaches, but that family system creates a mindset that sometimes we don't recognize that we're in, and finding a person, I think, that you can trust and have that conversation with, I think is also important.
Hmm.
So that you're truly identifying what your wants are, what you're recognizing in yourself, where you're growing towards so that you're in a place where you're really choosing who you want and not who you were brought up to think you wanted. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and it sounds like now we're adding in like the idea of reason can guide the passions, or passion a little bit. We can, if passion is like a raging river, then our reason or our intellect or our goals, like if we're using coaching terms, our goals are kind of like the dam, or whatever you put in a river to divert the stream to a different direction.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I mean, because even when we go into some neuroscience, as you're even saying that, it's recognizing the patterns that we have developed and creating that dam to create a new pattern. That old pattern where the dam is still there and can be broken through at any time. But that new pattern has to be, grown and developed and processed to be as strong as the old pattern. So yeah.
Another thing I just want to briefly mention is like if we're still using that metaphor where like passion is like just that raging flow of water, and that sometimes something might turn off the water flow entirely. It doesn't matter where you redirect it. It's just not as powerful as it once was, and that can happen for a variety of reasons.
But is that a bad thing? It sounds like we're setting that up for the passion to have an extreme.
It could.
I don't necessarily agree.
I guess it could happen for bad reasons that are not within the coach's purview. So, like, psychological reasons. You might have depression, which is like the number one aspect of depression is like that lack of will or motivation.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
To do anything.
Therapy stuff. Yeah.
It might come down if you are having a lack of passion and you're not interested in anything, relationships, things you had hobbies of, things that you were once passionate about. It might not be something that you can fix by just changing your mindset.
Right.
Pulling your bootstraps up. Like it might be an actual psychological or medical issue that is causing that. So look into that. If you've got issues like that, strongly consider if you might have depression or something else going on. That coaching is not going to solve for you.
But would you say what you said earlier about like the passion ebbing and flowing in relationships, would you say that that's applicable to pretty much anything? Yeah, I think that sounds accurate.
Yeah.
Because then you can generalize relationships with like your relationship to anything outside of yourself.
Right.
Whether that's work, hobbies, friends, family, your significant other,
business, everything.
Business.
Yeah.
Those are all things you still have to maintain. They don't just kind of sit there.
Right.
Yeah, which like then your good habits and your discipline fill the gaps of where your passion may be lacking. Which I have definitely not been passionate about reading before, but I've been disciplined enough to just like consistently read whatever it is I'm reading, and then have little moments of passion that come unexpectedly.
I'm thinking of a moment when I was talking with someone. And they were talking to me about, what they're doing and what they're out there doing. And I could see them try and muster up the passion. And to me, it felt like more of a sales, muster up the sales sound of it. And they weren't trying to sell me on anything. So I don't mean that. But it's the sound of what
maybe they're trying to sell it to themselves.
Yeah. And that's something to pay attention to as well, because if they're trying to sell it to themselves, there's some disconnect.
Yeah.
And to recognize that language and body language as well.
It's like I don't know, who's worked like a restaurant customer service or like that kind of stuff before?
I have.
It's like when you're behind in the kitchen and you're just like you're about to crash out, you're about to lose it. And then you're like, oh, gotta go in front of customers now.
Yep.
Put on your
happy face.
And you get out there and you're a passionate waiter or waitress or whatever. But you can totally see it in the eyes. if you're faking passion, doesn't always fake it till you make it. Sometimes it does.
Yeah, sometimes
Um,
it does.
Sometimes it does. I wouldn't say
But
it's bad.
sometimes it definitely doesn't.
No. Sometimes.
And in fact, for me, sometimes the fake it till you make it advice backfires. It depends on what it is.
Yeah.
But there are
Mhm.
some times when I do not feel comfortable with that concept given whatever it is.
Mhm.
I mean, frankly, coaching is kind of one of them. You know, I never resonated with fake it till you make it with coaching because I'm like, well, no, that means I have more to learn. That means
Mhm.
that there's more that I need to know to feel more confident and to feel more self-efficacy. Like it's
Mhm.
not, I can't fake
Yeah.
this.
Like, what is the one of the most like boring things you guys can think of? Like, what's something that when you encounter it, your brain is just like,
Oh, I
how can I?
told you already, filing. I hate filing.
Mm.
I used to, it used to calm me to file
Uh-huh.
a long time ago, but I don't know why. It's just
Could
filing is
could
just,
you induce yourself to be passionate about it?
no. I
No.
can induce myself to do it because it's
Yeah.
got to get done, but I'm not passionate about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of things that
Sitting in
I hate.
traffic.
Can
Sitting in
you
traffic
be
is a
passionate
terrible.
about being in traffic?
I can make it less mundane by putting on music or something like that. Or
But could you be
podcast.
passionate? Because sitting in traffic, I want you to be excited that you are the traffic. You are
You're a
being
part of
the
that traffic
traffic.
there,
You're
Gerard.
not
I have
part
a
of
higher
it.
purpose. I'm a part of this larger
You are
thing.
ruining other people's days by
Well,
being traffic.
I will tell you, in Atlanta, you have to kind of like have a way to deal with traffic. Obviously, you guys are close to LA, some of you.
And
So
we
you
have a 3-hour
understand.
drive.
Yeah,
Back
you understand
home from
this. Like
LA.
you have to strategize for what you're going to do because it's
Yes.
inevitable.
Yes.
So like when I used to have to drive far to work in Atlanta, like I would set myself up with an audio book and I would get passionate and excited about that because it's like there's something you can do. You're in the
That
car
is
for
true,
this
'cause
time.
I don't typically listen to audiobooks in any other situation aside from driving. So I'm kind of like, ooh, I get to like listen to my book that I haven't.
My daughter
listened
does
to in a
that.
while.
She
Yeah.
listens to books
Yeah.
all the time, and she likes that too. So,
Yeah.
But
can you get
Um,
excited? So excited and passionate. Are we saying the same word when we say?
Yeah,
it?
that's what I'm trying to figure
I
out.
mean, like obsessed, like you, like in Jerome's case, like if he was passionate about being traffic, he would find the rush hour,
Yeah.
you know, in LA and just be in it and just
Oh my god.
have a ball.
Okay, so
Lisa,
then I think we just
I'm-
cracked the case a little bit on
Yeah.
what passion needs, and that's purpose.
Purpose and
Right? 'Cause
desire.
without the purpose, it's just you can make it exciting-ish, but
Mhm.
you're never going to be passionate about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, what would the purpose of being excited about sitting in traffic be? Doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
I mean, in that case, you're using your passion for audiobooks to indirectly make sitting in
Right.
traffic less horrible.
Yeah, you're not actually passionate about traffic.
Yeah. That's like if I was passionate about gambling, I would just like do online gambling. You know,
Don't do it.
sitting in
Just
traffic.
say no.
I'm passionate about smoking and drinking beer, and I do that while I'm in a car in traffic.
I like how you
Just say no.
always use examples about like smoking and drinking as if you're like this big smoker and drinker. Like
yeah.
you're not.
You know, and he doesn't.
I'm trying to cultivate an image here
So
at
funny.
CLCI.
So funny.
Yeah, like you can't induce yourself to be passionate about something that you just don't have desire to, unless it's like something that I don't know. I'm trying to think of. There have been moments where in my life where it's like something has been in the periphery, and I've kind of pushed it to the side, or I didn't really think about it too much, and then once I tried it, I was like, "Holy shit, this is awesome! I'm gonna be, hyper focused on this for a little while." And then became passionate about it, and not traffic. I'm trying to think of just other things. I don't know.
School? Did you get that way with school?
Yeah, I think I did. Or learning. I'll say learning in general. I was never
Okay.
that passionate about school. but I am passionate about being a smart little know-it-all sometimes. Or I guess reading became that. Is that I didn't have a lot of drive towards school, but being well read when I was, a teenager in high school, I would read books a lot, but I wouldn't do my homework. And so that's the direction I went. I was not valedictorian, nor do I think I have the spirit or the will to have been valedictorian, but I was a hell of a reader and a decent writer, I think, as well, because of that. But yeah, there are some things that, and I wasn't so keen on reading to begin with. Once I found a book that I liked, I was like, holy shit, this is pretty cool. I'm going to keep doing this for, ever.
What was the first book that you felt that way with?
I think because I read Lord of the Rings when I was a kid, and that was like, I got passionate about Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
That didn't translate to reading. That translated to just really liking Tolkien, and then watching the movies and watching the special features and being super jazzed about that. In high school, I was probably reading. I'm a little ashamed to admit this, so nobody bully me for it, but it was Catcher in the Rye. I got mad. I think Brooke just said that's funny. What did you say? Not Twilight.
Mine was Great Expectations. I loved that book.
I got mad that we weren't reading it in English, and my friend was reading it in his English class. So out of anger, I read it, and I was like, "This guy's just as angry as me." And then it just continued from there. Brooke is the peanut gallery back here. But I don't know. My actual question was: has there been things that you avoided in your life or didn't really consider, and then when you tried it for the first time, you were like, "Oh, this is unexpected," and now I'm kind of passionate about it?
So I can tell you something I was passionate about in the moment, but I didn't do anything about it. Like I really did. Those skydive places you go to where you get up, and that was a lot of fun. I'm going to go out and I'm going to.
I don't know about the sky. I don't know about it personally, but I know what you're talking about.
Huh. Wait, so you did that where you like floated?
Uh-huh.
Was it scary?
No, not at all. I mean, it's, before you do it, it's a little like, how's this going to work? How's that going to keep me up? And how's it going? But once you do it, it's pretty simple, actually.
But like, can it blow you up real high or?
Yeah, you get chucked up in the fans.
Yeah, it's a jet engine. It's blowing you, but they've got it all, of course, figured out to not cut you up into little pieces.
Okay.
But that was a lot of fun. And I always thought, well, I should go skydiving, but I never followed through with that.
Why don't you go skydiving now?
I don't have an excuse.
Well, you don't need an excuse. You're an adult. Go skydiving.
Maybe she's not that passionate about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it in a while, to be fair.
Yeah, there's something controversial I want to put out there. If you are not doing it, like whatever it is you're passionate about, if you're not involved in it, are you really passionate about it?
The imagination is.
I guess so, but passion to me also means action. Like you are actively involved in it.
Yeah, I would agree.
For example, Lisa, if you let's take this to the extreme. If you were like poring over and watching YouTube videos about skydiving, and you were reading about skydiving and how to put together the parachutes, and that's all you did was thought about it, you're not passionate about skydiving. You're passionate about thinking about skydiving.
Yeah, that's true.
Different activities.
I would agree.
The passion has to coincide with your active activity. You can't just be thinking about it. Otherwise, you're just obsessed. Maybe that's the difference between passion and obsession. Is that passion requires active, participation.
I would agree with you. I think that concept that a lot of people, even in business, have this imagination about how wonderful it's going to be. And it is.
Yes.
It is.
Mhm.
But there's also a lot of work that goes with it, and drama that goes with it, in
Yeah.
the sense of, if you're not comfortable marketing, you have to learn a whole bunch of other new behaviors.
Yes.
And so my imagination of, in the moment that I had fun, felt
Mhm.
passionate, exhilarated in that moment, didn't turn into anything beyond that thought and imagination.
Mhm. So, would it be appropriate as a coach if somebody said to me, if they were a client, they're like, "I'm passionate about helping people."
Mhm.
Would it then be appropriate for me to counter that with like, what ways do you help people? How does that show up in your active life?
Sure.
Yeah, you could
I don't
ask into
I
that.
don't know if that's what they're there for, but if that's
Yeah.
what they're there for, I would say, yeah.
Well, we can then extend the hypothetical. Well, we can now go into clients now. Is that a client, they want to either find their passion or reignite their passion, uh, and their passion is helping people. They love
Mhm.
helping people. That's all they think about. Um, Probably the way you would go about that as a coach, in light of what we've discussed about passion, is when has that actually manifested in their life? And maybe separating the thinking about the passion versus actually doing the passion. Um, because then that could lead to interesting directions. Because if they were thinking about it a lot and
Mhm.
maybe obsessed with it, but they're not
Right.
doing it a lot, well, there's a block there. There's something happening that is
Right. I think that's
impeding their will.
Yeah, I think that's right on, kind of asking into it to discern, is there evidence from, previous action, or is
Mhm.
this all just internal action, which is really just in their head thinking about it. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's definitely something you would want to help them gain clarity and awareness on.
Mhm.
I feel like when you ask that question, when they tell you one thing and then you ask into it, you're not asking into it for you. You're asking
Mhm.
into it for them to gain
Yeah.
more awareness about what it is they're saying, because sometimes we lie to ourselves and
Mhm.
sometimes we don't tell ourselves the whole truth. And that's
Yeah.
what the coaching conversation is really good at getting out of us.
Well, or we didn't recognize all of the information we actually had,
Right.
and then as we start speaking it aloud with someone that we trust,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
has a different flow to it altogether.
Yeah.
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 So, in regards to passion and clients and people who are, when we're splitting the hairs about like what it is they're actually passionate about versus what they think about a lot, obviously, have them define in their own words what passion is,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
because probably our idea of passion, our nuanced discussion on it,
Yeah.
they might have a more nuanced opinion. They might have a less nuanced opinion. They might just equate passion with happiness, which is fine. They're using a different word for a different thing. That is a-okay. But you can help them, go
Define
into
it.
different,
Yeah.
define it further, go into different degrees. Okay, if that's
Yeah.
passion on a scale of 1 to 10, and you feel a 7 towards that, what does an 8 or a 9 or a 10 look like?
Mhm.
Where do you want to be? Uh, if you're at a 6 right now, maybe I won't ask you what does it take to get to a 10, but do you want to be at a 7? Do you want to be at an 8? What needs to happen for you to get there? Those are
Mhm.
like some coaching questions around passion. And then also like the emotional anchoring, like what did it feel like to be passionate about
Right.
this past?
What does passion feel like to you? How do you know when you are passionate about something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Regardless of, because in my mind, I don't. This is more just like my personal Anthony opinion, but like you can't recreate an emotion. Like whatever emotional state you felt in the past cannot be recreated in the future because they're just different times and you were a different person.
Ah.
So
Ah.
what
Yeah.
is the similarity that you could find between now and then, and what would, you know, how would passion look differently where you're at now versus where you were
Mhm.
before?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you're just a different person. But who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe the client will disagree
that's
and be like, "No, I'm the same person."
That's a good point, though, because what maybe brought you happiness that you were passionate about in the past has
Mhm.
evolved, or there's a distinction to be made that could be, more helpful in order to create a focus or something. So, yeah.
Now we're winding down. Time really flew by. We were so passionate about.
We are so passionate about this one.
Final thoughts. In my mind, passion is when you're passionate about something. In my mind, it's like you forget time exists. Time just floats away. You're singularly focused on thing, and it's specific moments that you. Long-lasting passion is kind of like it's not a real thing in my mind. It's my opinion, but you can do things so that you can bridge the gaps more easily between moments you feel passionate, and that's where the work comes in, and that's where you might work on things with a coach, such as habits and goals and mindset, and being aligned with what your values are. And when those things work out, you'll probably have shorter moments of not having as much passion. It might come more frequently versus when you don't maintain those things, then you might be in a real rut that's harder to get out of.
Yeah, I can kind of piggyback. What is it? Piggyback? Is that what we say?
Piggyback, yeah.
It was so weird. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I'm like,
It
is
sounded
that
very
real?
good.
Is that what people
When
say,
have I
Jen?
ever seen a pig on someone's back?
I mean, really, I started questioning that as soon as I said it. Okay, so I think that, the way I think of it is that passion is like seasons, right? So there's always weather. It changes. It's not going anywhere, but it's going to look and feel different depending on what season you're in. So that's just kind of, to me, the metaphor or analogy. I'm not quite sure which one that would be.
A metaphor.
Okay. That I would use for passion. And yeah, I think having conversation with a coach about that can really, really be helpful and bring so much awareness to light that you can use and just keep moving forward, even if it's looking different than it looked in the season prior, because that's going to change as well.
So I think a reminder for especially newer coaches is if you tend to have that higher passion kind of feeling, or conversely, you don't have it, is not to expect your client to meet your expectation of what passion should and should not look like.
Great point.
If you see somebody talking, in a more monotone level style, that doesn't mean they're not passionate. It could mean they're not passionate, but don't assume it means they're not passionate. Is to find out and listen to them and take their concepts on what that means. Don't presume and predict what they should and shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Their expression.
Jerome, final thoughts?
I think I might have changed my definition or tweaked it a little bit as far as what I think passion is now at the end of this conversation. And I think there's two components that are really important, at least for me. The one major one being you're actively maintaining whatever it is that we're talking about here that you're passionate about. And then something right at the end of this conversation clicked for me. I think also if it presents itself and when it presents itself, it becomes a non-negotiable that you tend to. It's something that you can't move on without, actually fulfilling that passion that presented itself to you in that moment. So I believe I could be probably different than some people out there, but that's, I think, where my definition stands right now.
I agree. It's almost it's non-optional as what it is.
Right.
Also, final thought, piggyback has nothing to do with pigs. I looked at the etymology.
Oh, interesting. What?
No relation to pigs. It's just from pick a pack or pick pack, which is like on the back or shoulders like a pack.
when you throw somebody on your back. That's a piggyback.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
But it has,
yeah,
it has nothing to do with the way you would hold a pig if it was on your back. So,
There is
There's our
a game
little-
though with pigs that. Anyway, go ahead.
you could hold a pig piggyback, but it has nothing to do with pigs.
that is
Never
interesting.
has.
Okay.
So that's a little etymology lesson for you guys.
Thank you for that.
If you're passionate about language and words like I am, there you go. And if you're passionate about helping people, become a certified life coach. Take coaching 101 and 102. It will ignite your passion for coaching and helping other people in business and making that sweet green dollar bills. If you're passionate about all that, become a life coach. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday with a different topic. Hopefully, Brooke will join us for real this time. Still settling in from
She gets a pass. She was just
Yeah.
on 14-hour flight.
No, it's 16-hour and then a 4-hour flight, then a 16-hour flight.
Okay, yeah, she gets.
Yeah,
a pass.
she gets a pass. But we'll be back next week with a different topic, just as passionate and as exciting as we always are. Until then, be sure to like, subscribe.